Hey everybody, and welcome back to UE5 BP Guru. Today is finally the day where we tackle the subscribers' request to have a skip night functionality within the game. Now, this is obviously all set up to the day-night cycle we created in the last episode with the moon we created in the episode before that. But this is kind of how I tackled this. So, you can already see up here where I've been working everything out. Now, before we begin, you'll need a new function, is sleeping and is nighttime. Those two will be important for the setup of this functionality. There's a reason I'm passing it through the third person character. That's because it's easier to pass it through the third person character than it is to call your persistent level blueprints and stuff. It's easier just to pass it through this character here. So yeah, the next thing I did was I created a I'm just going to do it here. I created a bed blueprint. So just create an actor, bed toot, we'll call it bed toot BP. As always, I always add the toot in there because this is a tutorial. Open that bad boy up, and all we actually need is a box collision for it to work. But you'll obviously want your bed in there, so you'll want to add a static mesh and have your bed in there. For example, I'm just going to I'll put a cube in. Why not, right? I'll put a cube in there to represent our bed. All right. But you'll obviously want a proper. Oh, I'm doing the wrong one there. I want the box. Where's the box? Give me the box. I want the box. Make sure they're not parent of one another when you're doing this, because otherwise it will mess it up a little bit. So make a lovely little bed shape. Now, it's not perfect, obviously, because this is just a tutorial. But whatever you do, whatever the shape of your bed is, just make sure you've got enough space around it with the box glider to make sure it actually works effectively. Go into your event graph, and all we need is our collision, our usual collision events. So do a begin overlap, and with the box also get a end overlap. And all we're going to do for this one is cast to third person character. We're going to do the same for both. And we also want to promote this to a promote the variable. Why is this being weird? I don't know why it's being slow. It's been a bit laggy. I do apologize. And then what we want to do is we want to get set. We want to enable our inputs like we normally do, because we only want this to take effect when we are within range of this item and nothing else. Get play controller, like that. It's being awfully slow, I do apologize. Disable input and plug that in. The target doesn't need to be anything like that. That needs to go into player controller, not target. There we go, and that should be that setup. Now I'm going to just get the E key for this, as it's kind of technically an interact. Sorry, it's being, I don't know why it's being so slow today. How bizarre. Okay, that's fine. We'll move on and drag that down. Compile. Okay. Oh, it seems to have worked itself out a little bit. I'm just going to plug this into here. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is check that it actually is nighttime. To do that, we're going to have to get that new reference. I'm going to change the name to something a little bit simpler. TPC is fine. So get is nighttime, because we want to check if that is actually nighttime or not, like so. Now if it's false, we just want to print a string for now. You could set up a widget that sort of fades in and out, but for now I'm just going to say not night. And then we want to get that set is sleeping to true for this. Okay, so we need to, the reason we want to know is it is sleeping is because we're going to check for that reference in our persistent level shortly. Then you want to create a widget like so. The loading player doesn't really matter. We just want to get our loading screen. The loading screen, by the way, I haven't set up a fade for it. I will do a fade tutorial at some point. But it's just a black screen. It's just an image with the black set to black with the text skipping night. And I've added a throbber in there to give you that kind of loading feel to it. That's all I've done for that. And obviously put it on a canvas panel so it fills the whole screen. And then we're just setting that up here. We're going to add it to the viewport. Add to viewport. Like so. And then we'll do a delay. Set it to like 3. Then you want to remove parent. Remove from parent. No. Let's just put this as remove. There we go. Remove from parent. That's what I was looking for. And it's just removing that widget from existence once we've done what we want to do, basically. And then all we need to do is reset is sleeping in here. I'm trying to keep all the nodes a little bit tidy this time for you guys to see a bit better. And we're just setting that to false, okay, for this one. So all that's happening here, there's not really a lot happening in here from the actual code side of things. All we're doing is just setting up the functionality. So the player walks in, it enables the E key, we press it, it checks to see if it's nighttime. If it is, all we do is we set is sleeping for a very short, for only 3 seconds, and we unset it. It's just so we get the loading screen, and that's all we need from this side of things. Compile. Okay, so you can see where I've already started the code off from where I was testing everything. Before this was just going straight into our clock. Excuse me. But what's actually happening now is we're casting to the third person character. We are setting our reference, so this is happening every tick, so it's working fluidly, and we're getting that is sleeping reference every tick to check if we ever hit that sleeping value. If it's false, we just carry on as normal. There's nothing to change. It will just run exactly as it is. All I've added in is nighttime. So every time we set this nighttime value to change the moon and change it from day to night and all the lighting, we're also setting this value so that our third person character and our bed blueprint both know when nighttime is and is not happening. Okay. So that's happening fluidly through everything else. All I've done is add that in at the end. Now what we want to do is come off of the true. So if we are sleeping, we need to do something, right? And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take our tick value. And I've got this set to 60,000. That's because the clock is forever moving forward. Now I might need to change this, actually, thinking about it, because I'm pretty sure the way I've set it up, it'll set to 8 o'clock, but the sun and everything else goes to 6 o'clock. I'll check it in a minute. If it goes to 6, then there's nothing I need to do. But for now, that was to set it to 8 a.m. But I think 6 a.m. is going to be a little bit easier to accomplish. The next thing, so you can already see the code up here. I'm just referencing, because this is the first time I've ever done this, so we want to set the actor rotation. Oh no, wait there. Let's we want it from our directional light. So make a copy and set actor rotation. Plug this in. We're going to split the pin just for ease. And I'm going to set this to 180. Okay, and what that's doing, so far what this is doing is it's changing the position of the directional light and changing the time on the clock to what we want it to be to match morning, basically. Okay, now there's no day functionality set up into this at the moment, because that's where it will get a little bit more complicated to... I mean, we're not tracking days anyway, we're literally just tracking the time. So you think about Minecraft, what you'd probably want to do is set your days up as an increment, and possibly check how long a day is, and then just every... So if it takes 60 seconds for a day to go by in your world, so every 60 seconds you want to increment by 1 to that day total. But what you probably want to do is when you're skipping sleeping day, just add an extra increment on and reset the timer. So do it via a timer functionality, so every 60 seconds an increment goes, and then you probably want to increment by 1 but reset the timer to 0 every time you skip a day. That's probably how I would do it, and I can look at it. If everyone wants me to do days, I can do days, but that will require a little bit extra work. But yeah, let me know if you guys want me to add days into all of this as well. Okay, so we've set our active rotation. The next thing we want to do is we want to reset our day lighting here, and I set the delta back to 0. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I do want to plug in the delta. We also want to update the sun direction, like so. So yeah, so we're basically resetting this to our 6 a.m. position, which is 180. We're setting the daylight, and we're also doing the updating the sun direction as well, so that continues to go, because this is only going to fire once, but we still need to update everything and then redo this again, okay? And it'll carry on down the line again. We also want to set our nighttime back to false, so that the game knows that it's now daytime. Because again, this isn't going to fire off. We're going to set this to daytime, and it's going to rerun down here, and it's going to go, well, it's not daytime, so it's just going to carry on, right? Yeah, firing the thing. And the last thing we want to do is, because it's nighttime, we really want to play the day transition of the moon, and get your moon BP as well, so that will slowly retransition back into what you want it to be. Okay, cool. So now this is all the setup done, it should, in theory, work. All we need to do now is drag out our bed tutorial. There we go. And it might take a hot minute for it to go around to day, so just bear with me. Because obviously the sun is now set up to come somewhere around here. Where are you, sun? I haven't rechanged the clock, I think. That's what my problem is. My sun should be somewhere. Where is it? Oh, it's over there. So it should be setting into nighttime almost immediately. What is it's set as 0. So it should be 6 p.m. technically. So let's just quickly make sure it is set to 6 p.m. clock. It is not set to 6 a.m. That's incorrect. 18. There we go. Compile and play. And play. There we go. Okay, where's there it is. There's our technically our bed. So if I click on it now, it should skip night. And then let's turn around, and our sun should be coming up. There it is. It's going up. So it set it to 11 for some reason. Interesting. Oh, that's because I know why that is. That's because the 60,000 thing, right? So I'm trying to think of a way to correct the clock. So the sun resets today. We just need to fix the clock, and I think I know how to do it. I think because I'm setting this to 60,000, I think what I want to do is I don't want to remove the tick, but what I want to do is put this into true, and then I think, and I don't know if this will work or not, so bear with me. I might have to really just work out what the tick value is, but what I'm going to try and do is I'm just going to try and reset the clock here instead, but set the actor first before we do any of this stuff, and hopefully it'll just correct itself, because this will happen and then this will happen. It's like a order of direction kind of thing. Let's give it a go. Right, so we should be already at nighttime. Why am I not moving? There we go, that's better. So it's like an order of direction thing. So we're starting the day at 6 p.m, which is already night. The moon's already out because of that. Let's skip night. The thumper, I didn't put the anchor on the thumper. So it goes now to 7 p.m. Oh, it doesn't actually update. Okay, interesting. So it just carries on the clock. It just pretends it's another tick. So what I need to do then, I do still need to update the tick. But what I need to do is I need to work out what that tick value is. Now, if 60,000 sets it to about just before midday, I'm thinking 40,000 will get me in the rough area of where I need to be. The way I worked out what that was, by the way, guys, was no, I shouldn't do it like that. So very 1, 2, 3. We're going to reset the 60,000 in there, even though it's 40,000. The way I did it is while I was running my clock, I literally just pulled off here and got a print string, and I just waited for it to hit the time that hits the 6 a.m. or it was 8 a.m. or whatever it was at the time. Obviously it's going to be different now because the clock's rotated. You're going to have to do it every time you re-rotate and things like that. So let's see where our clock ends up. It ends up, just as shy of the 5 a.m. mark. It ends up at 5:20. So very close. So I'll, of course, add a bit more and just work it out until you get to where it needs to be. Let's go back into our event graph, click on our 60,000. I'm going to make it 44,000. That sounds about right. Compile. And just work with it till you get the right figure. Or you can just, as I said, you can just run it until you get the... Oh, it's because I spawned in it. Let's jump out. And it's a bit shy. 6:30, I could probably live with 6:30 without sitting there and watching the figures go by until we get to 6 a.m. But yeah, it's a little bit shy. 43,000 should be good enough. And yeah, as long as it sits on 6 a.m, like it will start running from there. $6 a.m, literally bang on 6 a.m. There we go, done. So that is how you skip night. It's a little bit of playing around, a little bit of working out. So you've got to, as I said, you've got to remember a few things, like where your sun's beginning, where's it starting. I always started on 0. If you wanted to change that, I would probably do an event begin play, set everything to your time, so that it starts in the morning, because I found when I rotated my directional light to a position I wanted it to be in, it didn't like it. It broke the system. So it weirdly likes to start at 6 p.m. for some reason. The time wants to start at 6 p.m. So yeah, basically all I've done is I'm just going to go back through everything just so everything's safe in everyone's head. So this is our bed tutorial. On event begin play, we're enabling the actor. We're using the E key. We're getting those two functions, is sleeping and is nighttime, from the third person character. We're checking the branch. If it's not nighttime, we're just going to say not nighttime. If it is nighttime, we're going to set is sleeping to true, do the loading screen, for 3 seconds, remove it from the parent, and when we awake, we reset the is sleeping to false. And then obviously, as I said, in the player, all we've got is those 3 variables. The time when we did last time is nighttime and is sleeping. And then in the persistent level, we're calling the third person character, setting the variable, getting is sleeping. If it's true, if it's false, everything carries on as normal until you get to the end where we set is nighttime to true and false, depending if it's night or not. And then if this is true, we set the directional actor to 180, which is 6 a.m. Again, play with the figures. I think probably 200 would be good for about 8 a.m. roughly, but play with it, work it all out, and set it to what works for you. We then set this tick speed. Now this only works for 6 a.m. but you would need to change it if you're using a different time. Okay, so if it's 8 a.m. you'd probably want about 48,000. But just play with it, and again, it all changes depending on where your light source is starting from and all that sort of stuff. You really just need to play with it and get the figures right for yourselves, depending on where you're starting your sun from, where you're starting your scene from, you know, and what times you've got in your game. Okay, it's not going to be the same as mine. Just bear that in mind. So yeah, every time we want to set it to 43,000 because we know 43,000 is 6 a.m. okay, and every time we reset it, it will go back to 6 a.m. using that 43,000 tick event figure variable. Then we want to reset the daylighting, reset the update sun direction, set is nighttime to false, and we just want to play that day transition for the moon so that the moon disappears. And yeah, all the rest, it should be working fine for you. If you have any issues, please let me know. But theoretically, this should be now working for you guys, and you should be able to skip your night. You should have a working day clock. The only thing I'm not tracking is days in this, but I could do that if you want me to, so let me know if you want me to track the days too. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you'd enjoyed this. Don't forget to leave me a little like and a comment of what you want to see next, and of course hit that subscribe button. It really is helping my channel grow. You guys are doing phenomenally, and you can always change your mind down the line. So thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye bye.